welcome back to the Cardboard Herald podcast. I am Eric, joined this week by my jovial co-host Jack, who has just returned from his time away to places afar unknown, the outer reaches.
Well, I mean, I guess it's Germany. I think that's pretty well
The
known
great
at this
unknown.
Yeah.
What is schnitzel? We will never know.
We will never know. Actually, I did have some schnitzel. I didn't have the classic veal, but I did have some pork. That was delicious. Christina had the veal. And I ate so much doner, which is an amazing, it's a unique thing influenced by Turkish history, but really the Turkish immigrant population and the Middle Eastern immigrant population in Germany in general make doner kebab, which is now like the instantly identified street food everywhere in Germany. Had a ton of that. Just had a great time. Watched some soccer, some football, went to a crazy game, got overwhelmed, felt like I was in the middle of a riot. They know how to party hard there. And played some games. It was a hell of a trip. What did I miss over here?
Let's see. Silksong came out. Hades 2 was announced.
Okay. Political strife. There's a lot of political strife.
general turmoil and chaos in the streets.
I don't want to sound too dour, especially because people come to things like podcasts, especially board game podcasts, for
this is
ideally entertainment and uplifting. But returning to America was really bittersweet because, I've been to Germany plenty before. I have family over there, and this time more than any other, there was a sadness in returning to just the general sense of political strife that is going on in the United States. The sense of hopelessness a lot of people feel, the economic disparity. Like, food is crazy expensive in the United States compared to getting food over in Europe. And just like the general sense of personal satisfaction that I think the average citizen has. Almost everyone that I interacted with in Germany, through all walks of life, through different economic strata, seemed moderately healthy and pleasantly happy. Whereas there's just a formaldehyde of despair and hopelessness over the majority of people.
Hey,
here.
That's the American way.
Exactly.
As a person who grew up in Florida, that is like the only thing I ever knew.
Yeah,
was just
I guess
general
that's true.
despair at all times, given the geopolitical situation.
Yeah, I guess so. But I think the biggest difference is that there are so many little things that happen in Germany where there's just like this sense of trust that you're just going to do the right thing, and therefore you're given a lot more freedom for doing it. It's hard to explain. The zoo. You go to the zoo in Stuttgart, and we were like right there next to a penguin, several penguins. I could have just reached out and grabbed a penguin. I didn't grab a penguin, and there's just an expectation that you're not going to grab a penguin and, do something, abscond with that penguin. But here in the United States, you get so used to being treated like halfway between a child or a criminal that you have no sense of trust that you are going to be able to do anything. From movie theaters to dining to going to the zoo to so many experiences. Mm-hmm. There are definitely trade-offs. And don't get me wrong, I love so much about America and being an American. I actually talked to my stepmom, who's German, about this. My sense of identity as an American is still very strong. But after 20 years of just being like, oh man, things are maybe getting a little better, and then, oh, this is worse. And if we just get out of this, it'll get a little better. And then, oh God, this is worse.
Yeah.
It was nice being somewhere where, like people acknowledge societal problems, and there's definitely strife. There's definitely battles between conservatism, liberalism, but a general sense of like empathy and like community and relationship and positivity.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah. I'm here.
Did you know at SeaWorld Orlando you can just get in with the penguins?
Oh.
Like you can just step in there with them. You'll never be allowed at SeaWorld again, but you can do it.
Okay. Well, I was going to say,
it's
you
allowed.
Completely destroyed my entire argument. Like, that was like, boom, you Ben Shapiro'd me.
I've lured you into a debate that I know the answers to already. No, that was always the running joke whenever we would go to SeaWorld. Was you can go swim with the dolphins. Again, you just will never be allowed at SeaWorld ever again. That's the trade-off.
Right.
That's the trade-off,
So, board games.
Board games.
I did play some board games.
That's what you were asking about. The board games. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I did play some board games. I had a great time. We brought over a couple board games. We brought over Sky Team as a box. Packed in with it, we brought Forest Shuffle, because we did our podcast, which I think just went live today, right?
Yes, it did. It went live today.
So, we played Dartmoor, and I thought, well, I could be patient and wait for Dartmoor, or I could just get Forest Shuffle and pay the consequences, even though Dartmoor is probably the more cohesive experience. So I picked up Forest Shuffle, put that in the box, and then also brought over Regicide, because Regicide is bomb. Mm-hmm. Took that with us to Germany. Those were 3 games that my wife, my son, and I all really enjoyed playing. Well, they hadn't played Forest Shuffle up until that point, but now they enjoy playing it. And then in Germany, I picked up all the Forest Shuffle expansions in German. So now I'm, like making sure that I have a set of 3 different Fledermaus, or I guess Fledermauses. I'm not sure about the conjugation when it comes to plurality, but bats, Fledermaus, love that word. And I picked up Far Away. Have you played Far Away?
No.
Simple little card game.
No.
It's interesting. It's like, I did a quick review of it. It's a game that feels so obvious and so smart. You're playing these cards. Each card might have certain icons that it gives you of like 3 different types. It might have a color suit, and it might have like point scoring that is what the person on the card is saying, hey, if you bring me these things from your adventure, then I will give you this. And those are usually the icons or the color suits or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so you play each card in sequence. You play 8 rounds. Everyone is simultaneously playing 8 cards. And the idea is that you're going on this journey, meeting all these people, and then at the end of the journey, you can deliver gifts backwards, or tales or stories or information backwards. And so only the things that are played after someone asks for them are going to score. So if, your 3rd card is, I want anything that has this like fruit symbol, like a pineapple, mm-hmm. then the pineapples that are played on people who you are in your 1st and 2nd card, they aren't going to score for that person, because you didn't know that you needed them. You only know it in retrospect. So you play out your 8 cards, and then you flip over everything face down. Then one at a time, flip up your cards from your 8th working backwards and say, currently, am I scoring anything from this card? And what is it contributing to me? Okay, I've calculated score, move on to the next one, mm-hmm. flip it up, and now with the 2 revealed cards I have on this one, what do I score? And all face-up cards are contributing things, and you work backwards. Takes about 20 minutes. I don't know that it's like game-changing, but I certainly see why it got a lot of buzz, especially for something that is really easy to explain. Like, I'm going to bring it to game night tonight, and I imagine that it's going to get a lot of play. It has a great aesthetic to it too. And then other than that, I played the new Phil Walker Harding joint Cities. I got a copy of that in German, which is pretty cool. And I don't know where it stands in my like Phil Walker Harding echelon. Like, I really like Gizmos. There's a lot of his designs that are just very singular. This one, I think, kind of hits on his strengths, and is clear that he is the designer on it. But I like city building, and it's a nice, pleasant little game. Again, not game changing, but enjoyable. Glad I picked up a copy while I was over there, and cool to have it in German.
Yeah, German, a language that we all know, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I've told this story on the podcast. I don't know if I've told you this story. When I was going into college, I had to take a language placement test. Because I had to take a foreign language, and you must take a language placement test. And when I was taking it, I was like, "Oh, by the way, I don't know any foreign languages, so like, does it matter which language I take?" And the proctor told me, "No, it doesn't matter. You have to take one right now because this is orientation, and everybody has to take a foreign language placement test at orientation." And I, not knowing any foreign language, randomly chose German. And out of 25 multiple choice questions, I got 0 right. I had a 1 in 4 chance of getting each question correct, randomly guessing. Which I wasn't even just randomly guessing. I was like trying to do it. Like this was me trying my best, and I am a statistical anomaly here in terms of what I got on my placement test. And then they made me take German because they were like, "That's the language you took in your placement test," and I was like, "I was told there would be no consequences." So I had to take German. So I took 2 semesters of German and did very poorly. I was generally a very good student. Foreign languages have never been a thing I'm good at. I've tried. I had a 900-day streak on Duolingo, which I know is not a good, not actual good. At this point, I know it's not a good tool to learn languages. But like I did do it. I put in the work, and then once
I remember last PAX Unplugged. You were like waking up late at night and like, oh, Duolingo won't let me sleep.
The bird yells. To check in. The bird yearns for my labor. Well, it was, I did it, and then they announced that they were firing all of their staff to hire AI instead, so then I stopped doing it.
Cool.
What I've been playing. I got my hands on a game called Marsh Hollow, which I talked about with Cameron Art. It's coming, I think it's on Kickstarter right now. I'm going to be doing a video on it at some point or another, probably soon because the Kickstarter is live. They would like me to do it for the Kickstarter, but I think I have a little bit of time. But it is a flip and write. Everybody, it's a cooperative one. You are playing as marshmallows that are trying to save your family members from a cult that is trying to burn all marshmallows.
Right.
And the thing that I just really enjoy about it is it's like little tetromino pieces that you have to put on your board somewhere. You get 2 options, but the cards are transparent, which means that you can like see on your board where they fit.
That is smart. I was just looking at it on BGG here, and I was like, well, how do the transparent cards come into play? Because they're just laid out, and I was then looking at the very cartographers-esque mat.
It is.
Like, okay, well, like, what other... And now that you say it, I see the blocks.
Yeah, it is scaled correctly. So I've been playing some of that. I traveled with that. So I traveled to I traveled to Forks is what I should say, because I traveled to Forks, Washington, up on the Olympic Peninsula for a cousin's wedding, which had nothing to do with Twilight. They just wanted to get married in the rainforest out there. That's where they got their permit. And we, Forks is just the city nearby. And so we all went to Forks. Did end up doing quite a lot of Twilight related things because I was traveling with my family, and my sister loves Twilight. Brought the book with her, was reading it on the trip at all times, read it during the wedding.
Okay, very cool.
Had it open, and would be like, oh, they're saying I do. Okay, all right, back to my book. And despite all of that,
that's
she got
okay.
through,
During your wedding ceremony, I was just reading The Witcher, so
I mean, that's probably better
you didn't
use of
see
your
it,
time.
but
it's probably better use of your time. It's fine. But it was good. But I traveled with Marsh Hollow. Pretty easy to travel with because it just ends up being 3 pages and then a deck of cards, and that's it. I also brought Forest Shuffle. I also travel with that. And that one I just put into a bag. I just put into a Ziploc bag. All the cards went into a Ziploc bag. Didn't bring the board. You know how I package things. I sent you a copy of Harmonies with no packaging. Forest Shuffle did all right. Didn't need any. I'm undefeated when it comes to packaging things.
So I have a question on Forest Shuffle. Now that do you have all 3 expansions?
I just have the base game. Just the base game.
Okay, you just have the base game.
Yeah.
So I like the expansions. I think they're pretty cool. They're very small expansions, but I don't want to say that I regret getting them. But it does have the added complication that a lot of these types of games have. Suburbia suffered from this. Terraforming Mars suffers from this, where you only play with so many of the cards, or you're only going to end up seeing so many of the cards, and the likelihood of certain events happening in succession, or certain tags happening, or it reduces predictability. Especially if you're playing at low player count, that you're going to be able to engage in certain things. So the greater amount of cards that you have, then if you're really looking for that Fledermaus, you might not find it because it might have been part of the chunk of cards that was removed. And maybe that's just part of the game. And I think Forest Shuffle does a really good job at giving you so many avenues to score points, so many avenues to be flexible, that I didn't find it to be a super big problem. And especially Christina, for whatever reason, has latched on to butterflies in Forest Shuffle, or her jam. She wants all those butterflies, and so help me God, if there's a butterfly she needs in the display and I play a bear and I scoop all that up, that is doghouse stats right there. But
I mean, it looks like you have a nice couch to sleep on right there.
Yeah.
If you take the butterflies.
It's covered. Yeah, it's covered in dog hair.
Yeah, well, don't take the butterflies.
Dog house.
What do you want? You get one or the other.
Exactly. But so there's more butterflies that you can get, which increases the threshold through which you can get points for butterflies in the expansions. So she's all about it, but still, there's just this sneaking suspicion, am I making this a worse game by adding expansions, or a more unpredictable game? I guess it's really, what do you want out of it? So I don't hate it, but it is
something to consider. Something to consider.
To consider.
I haven't played it with any of the expansions, so I just can't speak to them. I played base Forest Shuffle at Gen Con for the first time. I knew this game had come out, but I just never got around to it until then. And then, obviously, we played Dartmoor. I played Dartmoor at Gen Con as well. But it was definitely a thing that I took note of as this feels more complete. And then I found out it's because they introduced a lot of the things that they'd introduced in the expansions. So a little bit more focus, which might make it better than getting the expansions, which makes it a little bit more unfocused, which might be a bit more unpredictable, even if it introduces like great things. Like I think the variable starting caves, that's that's fun. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So brought Forest Shuffle, played Forest Shuffle. I also have gotten Flip Tunes as well as Flip Town, which
Flip
are
Town,
two games
hot dog.
that are very similarly named, but are quite different. Flip Tunes I finally got after playing it on BGA for a while. I was finally like, this is a game I enjoy. I want to be able to play this game in person and bring it to game nights because it's also just really it's rad. I like it a lot. But then Flip Town is one that I got from a friend who had a board game pile that he was just passing around if anybody wanted anything from it. And it's a flip and right, another flip and right, but it is poker cards. So you have like
Yeah, it's got a Western aesthetic, huh?
exactly. It's like 4 different mini games that correspond to the different suits, and then different powers in each of those mini games based on what number you pick. So basically, 3 cards get dealt at the start. Everybody chooses from those 3 cards. You're going to choose 1 card, and the only thing you take from it is its suit to determine which mini game you're playing that round. The next card, you're going to choose the number, and that determines how strong you do in that mini game functionally. Like some of them are slightly different, where it's like one of them is a mining mini game where it's like if you choose a number from 1 to 7, you go left at this fork, and if you chose a number higher, you go right at this fork. And there, you just build to a like end game scoring bonus, and you can. If you go right at one point, the next time you play a card into there, if you play a lower card, you actually then start taking that left fork path. One of the suits is like robbery, one of the suits is a trail, and then the other is like shops in town that you visit. But functionally, it's you choose of the 3 cards that get dealt at the start of the round, 1 just for the suit to determine which mini game you're playing, 1 number that is just like how do you do in the mini game. And then the last one, you're basically reserving to be a poker hand at the end of 5 rounds. And depending on how good your poker hand is, you get better points.
I like the idea of, like scaling everything for the final reveal.
Yeah. Well, because it also, I think the thing that I have found a bit frustrating is just, it seems like you got to really put in a lot of effort to get a good poker hand, and then it just doesn't pay off as much. And it also is like, you just can't know the poker hand you're going to get because it's like, you get 3 cards every single round. You can try to build towards a flush, but at some point or another, like on the 4th or 5th hand of the round, or like reveal of the round, you might just not get the suit that you're looking for because you only get 3 cards each round. And so it's always like, I think the highest I have gotten is a 2 pair, which is not great, all things considered. But it's fun. I like it. I like it quite a bit. I will, at some point or another, I think post either a review or a shorts review of it. I don't know how. Like, it's definitely not time pressing. The game came out like 2 years ago, so it's not like it's coming out next week. But
I'd like to check it out at some point. I haven't played a lot of Stephen Aramini's work, but I've played the 2 games I have played, Sprawlopolis, and what was it? It was Weird Giraffe. Carla was involved in it. I think on one of her alternate pressings, Animal Kingdoms, I want to say is the name of the game. That was also one of his, and I remember enjoying that as kind of a cool area control game too. Yeah, Animal Kingdoms. Was that her? Yep, Galactic Raptor Games.
Oh, great. Not Weird Giraffe. Galactic Raptor.
Not Weird Giraffe.
Different.
Yep. That was her joint project with Dan from Letterman Games. And I felt like I remember asking her on a podcast. I was like, Carla, are you just creating board game publishers? Is this like some massive Ponzi scheme? Like, you have like 6 different publishing companies that you're associated with. But I think Galactic Raptor ended up maybe folding, and then she took Animal Kingdoms in Underwear Giraffe. And then now I think there's Animal Kingdoms Roar and Write. I think there's a few offshoots of that game. But anyway, it sounds.
I liked it a
cool.
lot. I still like it. I did as well, but I like it now too. And I will probably continue playing it. Let's see, what else have I played? I just got my hands on Bombastic, the new Bitewing game. Really fun. It's Nana and Tic-Tac-Toe. Just based on that, like I that was the description I was given by Nick when we had him on the podcast, and it's very apt. It's a very good description. I stand by it. He's right. It's Nana and Tic-Tac-Toe. I love Nana, and Tic-Tac-Toe is a fun little version of it. So I was super, super stoked to get that out. I've only gotten a handful of plays in on it. I mean, it plays in like 5 minutes, so it's very quick.
Right.
But I got that played a couple times. I just got that yesterday or 2 days
ago. Speaking of Bitewing, I have their next 2. I think they're calling it the Mythic line of games. Moitura and Azure are. Am I giving thumbs up?
Yeah, you're giving thumbs up. Okay. You're throwing thumbs. You doing this is apparently enough to give a thumbs up.
I need to turn that off.
No, it's good. It's a fun little thing that happens in the podcast every now and then.
So I played Moitura, which is cool. It's the same creators or same designers as Undaunted, which made me really excited about it, and War Chest, which made my son really excited about it. I like War Chest too, but it's to me very, very influenced by Cyclades, the old Bruno Catala game. And I want to say Bruno Fedudi also worked on that.
You said Duty.
I know, right? I have terrible pronunciation. Cyclades was Bruno Cathala. Oh, no, Ludovic Malblanc is who co-designed Cyclades. Anyway, it's cool, interesting. Both my son and I left it feeling like we weren't sure that we engaged with the game how the game wanted us to engage with it. And so definitely need more plays on that to see if we did. Then I still think the game is fine, just a little bit more abstract and a little bit more, I guess, open-ended and less tense and combative than we were expecting going into it, but nonetheless enjoyable, killer aesthetic. And then I haven't played Azure at all, but Azure is the what seems to be even more abstract game, which normally I like a lot of abstract games. I mean, we're just talking about War Chess. It's one of my favorites of all time. Literally is my son's favorite of all time. But I don't mean abstract as in removed from the theme in this context. When I'm talking about Moitura, it's more abstract as in like how you interact with the game in ways to successfully manipulate it so you get a lot of points. It is not as direct of a line of thinking as you might initially think. Yeah. Or maybe we're overthinking the game.
Yeah, maybe you're trying to get too big brains.
Maybe
you gotta go dummy mode, dude.
Yeah. All right. I guess I gotta get back to it.
Next time, just go dummy mode. It's easy peasy. It's the way to do it. I don't know. I think I've played a couple other things, but I think we've talked plenty about games we've played, and we can talk more about them on the next podcast that I chat with you on. But I now formally formally call to order the quarterly state of the Herald board meeting.
You're writing checks so that I don't know that we need
Quarterly.
to...
It's definitely been
Okay.
only 3 months since our last one.
Yeah.
And this one is definitely more of a, we both have just not chatted with each other in a bit due to me doing interviews and you faffing off to Germany.
Gallivanting.
Yeah,
we were talking about it, and especially with our mutual trips that had happened, we wanted to get together to just talk about the Cardboard Herald, Eric and I. And then it was also, well, we need to record a podcast, and this seemed like as good of a topic as any. So I figured we could try and be as transparent as possible and, just forget the audience for a little bit and just you and I talk shop, talk business, talk plans, and see what we got on the horizon, and maybe people will get something out of it. Maybe they won't. And I guess that's what feedback is for.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
So first of all, thing to discuss, we did the game night as a podcast. And I think that was a fun way to do a review on a game that we may or may not do a review on.
Yeah, totally.
Just get our first thoughts on it, and also just to play games again, because we just don't play many games together anymore now that we don't live near each other.
Right.
So we'll have to take a look at the views and see how the comments respond to it, because that just got posted today, and I don't, unless somebody's commented in the last 30 minutes. I don't believe we have any comments on there, even though I specifically requested them, guys. In the description, I said, please give your feedback comments.
Did you post it to BGG as well?
Where
as
would
a review?
Oh, I guess it would be in the... I'm not very good at... Yeah, I can put it in for Shuffle Dartmoor.
Yeah.
That's
so
right.
Just go over to there, and you can post it as a review. I mean, it's a little bit weird of a format to call it a review. I think there's also the ability to do a playthrough.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah. So reviews, sessions, instructional, interviews, unboxings, humor, and other. That's always a good place to go to generate interest for the channel. More people seeing things, and it kind of gives a permanent record of it outside of the established audience. I'm always kind of worried about what YouTube's algorithm thinks of us and thinks that we should be doing.
Yeah. I know it doesn't like the podcast, generally speaking.
Yes.
Like
and
it's just different.
And so that's one of those things that I have to consider, or we have to consider, is when we're doing the podcast, is this value added to the audience? Is this value added to the channel? I try not to get overly, I guess, min-max about it would be a good way of viewing it, because I want to do things on the channel that I feel proud of, that I feel are fun and interesting. Interviews are a lot of that, and I do like having a venue for us to just kind of chat and hang out and that kind of thing. But as I worry about, as we put things on the channel that don't get a lot of views because people are like, I like their reviews, but I don't like this podcast. Does that then make YouTube not recommend us as much when it comes to the actual stuff that people do want to see and would be value added if they got it into their eyeballs? I hate that we're, in this world where we're playing these algorithm games, and I definitely don't want to tailor our content to how best to manipulate that, but I do want to defend against it, if that makes sense. Yeah.
The algorithms they're really fickle, because you and I both don't want to do things exclusively for the algorithm's sake. But there are things that I think we should be considering with them. I think I've thought about that I haven't really put forth at all, but just doing a Cardboard Herald long form channel that keeps it off of the main channel would probably help the main channel's algorithm more. It would hurt the podcasts, but if we're doing the podcast just so that we have time to yap with each other and interview people, then that is what it is. I think that the tough thing then is that it's we are like basically at that point would be saying, okay, actively this is a thing that is not going to be on the main channel anymore.
I think part of the problem with that is, like we have the established history that when we talk to board game designers or publishers or whatever, and we say, hey, we'd love to have you on for an interview, like we can point to other interviews that we've done and the audience that we built, and the channel having 11,000 subscribers or whatever makes it so they know that it's worth their time. Having a separate channel, I guess, means that we have to build it up again.
Yeah.
But then again, if they look at our history and they see, oh, here's an interview that you did with Trey Chambers and there's 236 views on YouTube, that doesn't necessarily help things either. They still see that we have a large audience and we can tell them, well, it's probably going to get a lot more traction as an audio podcast.
Yeah.
But that's some of the game that we have to play. That's smart, though. And I've seen other channels where they have a main channel and like a secondary channel, and maybe that's something that we should consider, is just having the podcast be a second channel, and so that way we have the YouTube branch of it, but it's not interfering with the main. That's smart. Maybe we should play around with that.
Yeah.
I mean, just looking, board game YouTube, and I think like anytime you're on YouTube, you're dealing with some of this, but looking at just the last couple of months, we have some videos here. Vantage got over 3,000 views. The top 10 minimalist board games got nearly 3,000. Wingspan Nesting Box is 2,000. By far the biggest thing was that top 10 worker placement games.
Yeah.
I think the thumbnail worked really well on that. And then it's also a topic that I think a lot of people would want to check out. And then Everdell's Silver Frost, for just a straight up review, got a lot.
Yeah.
But the problem that we're always facing with reviews of games is there's an audience of people who will watch everything that we do. Then there's an audience of people who will watch, who are subscribed and will check out what we do so long as it's moderately interesting. And then there's an audience who may be aware of our channel, but is only going to be watching it if it's something that is directly relevant to their interests. Mm-hmm. And then there's people who don't know about us at all. And by far, the most traction that we get is from that last audience, or those last two, where, like, people are not watching the latest Cardboard Herald review in the way that someone might watch, say, every single thing that Shut Up and Sit Down puts out.
Exactly.
Which is fine, and I totally understand that. But it means that we have these huge peaks and valleys as far as things that we put out, because we don't want to only cover the most relevant or hot games. We want to cover the games that we think are interesting, that have been brought to our attention, and that means that sometimes those are going to be games that are, like, basically unheard of or old, and they're just not going to get enough traction. And so I don't know.
Yeah, well, and I think for me, another thing that I look at is I want to talk about games I have really strong opinions on. And sometimes those are going to be games that came out a couple years ago, like Fliptown. And if we post a Fliptown review, which it's not out of the question, we might, but it's not gonna get the same number of views as if I posted a review. I'm trying to think of a game that just came out. Like if I posted a Flip-toon review, like right now, it would do better. I think at this point I've probably missed a lot of the Flip-toon like initial hype, so that video just won't get as many views as it would have if we had timed it, like if we had been super on the point of, oh, this game is coming out, we have to get a review copy of it right now so that we can post a video and catch the hype. Which is just kind of not how you or I usually operate.
Yeah, like I would say that we haven't even published it yet, but probably my favorite review video that I've done in the last 6 months, which is just something that I feel really proud of as far as how it came out as a video, was Yokohama. And that came about purely because the game had an interesting history that for me, because at the first board game convention that I went to as the Cardboard Herald, I ended up playing it as the new hotness. Tasty Minstrel Games has a really interesting history with how it folded, and then all of these games scattered to the winds and are now being published by other publishers. And I didn't even intend on picking up Yokohama, except for I saw that it was like on Amazon for like $20 for the nice new edition. I was like, whoa, is the publisher going out of business again? I remember thinking Yokohama was kind of interesting. I should just grab this because this new edition released within a year before, and the MSRP was, $60 or something. So the fact that it was 20, I was like, well, maybe this is a mistake. Maybe this is a pirated copy or something, a bootleg. But I picked it up, and in playing it, I was like, you know what? Yokohama is just a really interesting game. So I prepared the review. There's some historical notation in that I think is really cool. Like, not the production of the game, but the setting itself, but how that feeds into the game, and the kind of weird confluence of circumstances for the game matches the weird confluence of circumstances that the post-Edo period in Japan was facing with reopening the borders. I don't know. Like, I feel like it made for a more interesting video. Whether or not that's going to get any sort of traction, I have no idea. But it's still, that's the kind of video that I do and feel very proud of. And like, this is what I want to do with my free time. Like, sometimes a review is an obligation and it's like, well, I just got to get that done. I like doing coverage of games. And even if it's an obligation, I do like maintaining the channel. But the things that make me feel creatively fulfilled and like I am doing things as, like a hobbyist, as someone who cares about what I'm doing, that even if no one paid attention, I'd enjoy doing, they would be like the Yokohama review that's going to go up pretty soon. So, yeah. I don't know. It's one of those things that we always got to balance.
Yeah, well, and I think another thing to consider is YouTube really wants us, like, on the back end of YouTube, if you run a channel that has any sort of following, YouTube pushes that you need to start doing shorts pretty heavily.
Yeah.
And I've been looking into that more. I've been filming more things as shorts reviews, either games that I'm just like picking up that I just don't feel the need to put a full review into, or as a like separate mini review. We're gonna have, I think next week it's on the schedule for next week. Our reviews of Slambo and For the Emperor, which are 2 tiny box games from Allplay, and the reviews aren't that long, and so I just kind of edited a shorts review out of the main review that I was doing. So we might start doing that a bit more frequently. In my mind, I just think that makes sense. I do want to go back through some of the interviews we have and like edit certain interesting snippets from the people we talk to into shorts, just because that's a thing that I've seen frequently on YouTube Shorts, on Instagram Reels, as just a thing that I think is fun and will get views. That one, again, I'm doing kind of less for the algorithm and more just because I think that these are interesting things. Like, they're interesting snippets from the publishers or the designers or the, just anybody we've interviewed. I think that there are cool snippets there that if you're not interested in watching the full review, which I think is reasonable, like if an audience member is only interested in short form content as opposed to a hour and change long interview, but just having those
Right.
shorts to be like, this is the thing that I thought we got it to in the conversation that was really interesting, as shorts for people, because also YouTube likes when you do shorts. The algorithm says good job on that.
Yeah, I really like how the Desperate Oasis review came out as a short, and then just looking at our shorts, by far the most popular short that we have is the Sky Team mini review, which is just a reposting of the mini review that we did in standard format, except as a short. And I think in that, I was just playing around with like the verticals and trying to make Final Cut Pro allows you to, say switch this all into verticals for short form media, so you could post it to TikTok or YouTube Shorts or wherever. So that one was, went well. Everdell Duo, again, that was pretty much the same thing. And so I think any of the minis that we do reposting as shorts is always a good idea. And I have that planned for Far Away. I'm going out to play around to see how, I mean, to be honest, I don't watch a lot of shorts. How often do you have a short where it is in traditional landscape mode, just with something above or below, as like text or something? Or is that like a huge turnoff to someone
I'll say
of a younger generation, such as yourself?
As a shorts fiend, I don't typically see any videos like that, so I don't know if it's a major faux pas or if it just isn't, just doesn't happen. I'll say I just really haven't seen it, so I don't know.
YouTube is probably making it go away.
Yeah, YouTube's probably saying
anyone who does
no, thank you. No.
Yeah,
we're not doing that.
The
anymore.
Desperate Oasis, is a very small game, and it got a decent, for shorts. Got a few on there, but I don't know. I'll continue playing around with it. If it seems like having that format doesn't work, then I'll go back to the trying to make the standard format into vertical format. Part of the problem is that I do not film for a vertical format, and so when you put it into vertical, sometimes you're cutting off things that are necessary
important
parts
for the shot.
Exactly.
I have started, when feasible, like if I'm not sure, because typically I feel like when I'm filming to do a review, first of all, I'm just playing the game, so I do have a lot of time to get footage typically. Right. But if I don't know whether or not I am filming this to post as a short, which I've started just consciously being like, okay, I'm going to film this and post a shorts review. I'm not going to post a big review. This is just going to be a shorts review. I've started filming vertically, but if I'm not sure what I'm doing, so like with Bombastic, which because it's such a small game, I feel a bit torn on whether or not it should be a shorts review or not. I just don't know yet. I'm filming both vertically and horizontally. That way, maybe I can just do like the voiceover that I will be doing for the review. Like if I'm going to be doing a full length review, I will have a voiceover that will be a good chunk of the review.
Right.
You probably. That's our format. So I'll probably just take that and put the vertical video on it to make a shorts review, which would just be a separate that would end up being a separate video, but it would still be the same, like, oh, this is just a shorts review version of the big review, just with video that works for a short. But it's a thing that I am now trying to be a bit more intentional about, where I'm like, I need to know whether or not I'm doing a shorts review or not, because some shots work better in the shorts format. You need things that are just going to be little bit faster paced, which Bombastic works really well for that. But it also is like, I don't know, it's a Bitewing game. Like those, I think, are some of the more fun games to review, at least for me, because I enjoyed reviewing Slambone for the Emperor, Gazebo and Gingham as well, Iliad.
Right.
They're fun reviews to make. These games are just, they give a lot of interesting things for me to talk about and have opinions on. So for me, I think that it's a publisher that I think the more I play it, I'll have more to say about it. But it also is, the game itself is pretty light. And so it's like, this might just be better if I focus on making a really solid shorts review. That might end up getting, I'm not going to say definitely, but that will probably end up getting more views than a typical video. Like, if I make a really solid short, there's a chance.
Yeah. One thing that I'm surprised by, and I really like, is how functional it is to do a response to a question. You know, like, I've done that a couple times. We had the comment, why do all board games need a solo mode? And then we had another comment, what is the world of board games coming to? And part of it is it gives me a platform to just kind of like respond to the audience and be like, well, this person says that we shouldn't have solo modes in all our games. And so I can
you can Ben Shapiro them.
Exactly. But it allows me to have a quick response to something that people may wonder, not necessarily to dogpile on the person who's commenting on it, but to address something that normally I would respond to that comment. I respond to almost every comment that comes across if it warrants any response. If someone asks a question, if someone, says something more thoughtful or nice, gives a story, I'll generally respond to that. If it's just like a cool vid, then I might not respond to those. But for the most part, I try to respond.
Wow. You hate the fans.
Yeah, exactly. But if it's something that's more open-ended and I think there's value to the discussion, or it's something that's more, I don't think any of this is like controversial, but it's, something where there's multiple strong opinions or perspectives, and I want to at least give my perspective on why I feel the way that I feel, and it doesn't really fit in the context of any other review. A short is a great platform for that. The way that YouTube allows you to put a comment into the video itself, the quick access to the recording tools, and the expectation that you don't have to have like real professional equipment. I'm used to recording our videos on nice cameras, and instead I could just use the front-facing camera on my phone, and that's pretty awesome. So I want to do that more often, and maybe there's opportunity for you to do that as well. A little more often.
Yeah, I've had a couple times where I've had comments on videos where I'm like, I could maybe respond to this. I know there was one on the Molly House video that was just a comment that said, oh, it's about gay people throwing parties. How stereotypical. And I'm like,
yeah.
Did you not watch the review? Was that the only thing you took away from the review? Was that it's about gay people throwing parties?
Right. and it doesn't even have to be only negativity, right? Like there may be people who are like, like you mentioned in this, here's an example of something that I could see. I brought Far Away, or I got Far Away on in Germany. And someone responded saying, well, language independence is important in a lot of games. You mentioned that you picked this up because of language independence and you were in Germany. Are there any other games that you'd recommend, if you were playing with people of different languages? Then that might not be a top 10 video worth doing. Maybe it is, but certainly that could be something where I could just spout off, here's a couple games that I think are recommendations.
Could easily be a short. Especially since you can pull up that comment and have it on the screen of like, this is what they're asking about. The audience is immediately able to see that in the short.
Right.
But yeah, shorts have always been since I've been making content as part of the Cardboard Herald. Shorts are a thing that I have been interested in doing. I feel like it's difficult with our typical format, which is why I have been like just trying to purposely go, okay, no, this is not going to be our typical format. This is going to be a shorts review. Like I did, I got a review copy of. It was less a review copy and more just the rep at. Oh, now I'm fully forgetting the name, but for Macro Crime City, so it's not Pegasus Spiel anymore. It's Hatchet.
Yeah.
Hachette Games. I just told her that I enjoyed Macro and I enjoyed Jigsaws, and she's like, just take it. Even if you don't make any content about it, like this would be fun for you to have.
Right.
But I was doing it and then just had the thought of, I'm not gonna do a typical review for this. Like that, right. That's not a thing I'm going to do. Because it doesn't make sense on the channel with our format to do a review on this jigsaw puzzle. We do have some puzzle things, but it's not quite the same. But just doing like the full, okay, I know I'm not going to be doing a actual review on this. Let me just make it a short review. And change the format of how I'm going to talk about it into a shorts review type thing. I think that one's going to be coming out at some point or another.
We have five shorts in the can right now. Slambo for the Emperor for 6. I have a Forbidden Jungle one down here that needs to be published.
Just put it out right now. Put it out right now. Live.
And far
live for the viewers. Yeah. Publish it right now. 'Cause that's another thing that I am not sure about is we can probably just post the shorts whenever. Like some of them, it makes sense to wait until the main review. Like if we have a main review, but like, cause I'm not going to post my For the Emperor and Slambo shorts until that video is out, which is why those have just been in the draft form for a while. But, like we just haven't posted them. And I feel like if we start posting them more, it's going to be a thing that we do have to start staying on top of more. Like it's going to be not necessarily it will be more of a burden, but more of a burden in terms of just, it'll be work that we will be doing on top of the normal videos. But they might be worthwhile.
And I think they're a pretty low barrier to get done. And
you're not spending 40 hours per short? Is it just me?
Yeah, and it... I think people are also pretty forgiving on the quality of them. Like there's just not that expectation that they be, more pristine and everything.
Yeah.
So on another note, one thing that I wanted to make sure that we're on the same page about is like Patreon. A while ago, I want to say this is how disorganized we are occasionally. For the most part, I think we're pretty organized. But I want to say we had talked about you were going to do the August Patreon thing to talk about your experience at Gen Con and that kind of stuff, or maybe not. But August ended up, we didn't do August, and September was late, and so I just posted earlier, before this.
I saw that. It came in as I was answering the Discord call.
Yes, the Patreon update for September. So do we want to make a commitment that, like, essentially as a newsletter, we'll have a Patreon update once a month? Does that make sense?
I think it makes sense. We should be able to do that. I put in a lot more work onto things that I care a lot less about. I'll be perfectly frank.
That's a great way of putting it.
This is something that I like being part of the channel, and I think that this is a thing that I could definitely put in more work towards this, because the Patreon is like putting together a newsletter of just, hey, here's what's up with us. Thank you for being subscribers and supporters.
Right.
It's going to be a lot less of a load, or like a lot less of a burden than some of the other random things that I do in my free time.
Right.
Such as putting together. This is completely separate. I don't think you can quite see it. You can kind of see it a little bit right there. I got Dice Realms the other day. And I might do a shorts out of this because I did film it as a short. But oh my god, that game takes so long to just assemble the pieces, to just put it away. Like from opening the game, because it is the game is played using dice that have customizable faces. So you'll like pop out a dice face and put on a new one, and you have to go through 4 different bags to sort the dice into their specific containers. Hold on,
Is that the same designer as Dice Forge? Because that's the first time that I saw that, which Dice Forge was like interesting as a gimmick, but ultimately was something that I was like, there's not enough game here for me to super enjoy this. Let me see. Dice Forge, Regis Bonsoir.
Dice Throne. Dice Forge is what you said.
Dice Realms. So different designer, but looking at the components, it looks like they're using the same tech.
Almost certainly. I should hope so. You already did it. Earlier. Don't redesign the wheel. Oh no, it looks. I think it's slightly different. Well, because these ones are. I mean, it's the same concept. So I'm not gonna pick you there. But it's I still haven't gotten around to playing it because I did spend I got
2
it,
years
and I got the
sorting it.
It took me I would need to check, but I feel like I started when I got home from work at like 5ish, and I think I got done at like 9ish. And I did take like a little bit of a break here and there because I was like, I can't keep doing this. I have to pack. This was right before my trip to Seattle, but like that, I did a shorts. I think I now I need to go back through because I filmed myself unpacking it, and I felt like that could be a fun, like time lapse shorts review of me doing this. I think I might have deleted it off of my phone because it took up a lot of space, and I moved it over already. But to loop back to what we were talking about, I spent 4 hours doing that for a game that I still haven't played many weeks later. Or by many weeks, I mean like 2 weeks later. I can put in hours into writing a solid, thoughtful Patreon update for our fans and supporters who help make the channel happen.
I mean, just off the cuff writing what I wrote and putting some images in it only took 10 to 15 minutes, so it really doesn't take a lot of time. But I think we should definitely commit to it. I don't know that we need to assign one or the other of us as the specifically responsible person as of right now. If you want to take the next one, so that way we just have some different flavor, that sounds great. October will be where we announce, it can be a separate thing, but the Patreon
the giveaway
effort that we were going to make to have the giveaway, we'll have to announce the winner of that and figure things out. But I think things are overall moving along smoothly there.
Yeah.
The last part of business that I really wanted to focus on was just, seeing if we have any anticipated complications or things to figure out in preparation for PAX Unplugged.
Yeah. Well, not complication. I said that and it started off very well. No complication. My job situation is a little bit up in the air. Not that I'm getting fired. I just have a couple other jobs that are maybe in the works. Either at the company I'm at right now, a little bit higher up, or with different companies, which would just make it like I do need time off. I need Thursday. I need that. I think you're getting it on that Wednesday.
Did you already get your ticket? The like pass?
Oh yeah, yes, I did get that.
Okay,
I have that. That's done.
Great.
That's squared away. I do need to get my train ticket, but that'll happen at some point or another. I do get to take the train this year. I don't have to drive through Philly traffic to get there, and then figure out parking and call you panicked in the middle of the night, like, Jack, where do I park this car? And you saying, I don't have a car. Why are you calling? I don't know where to park your car. Which was a very silly thing to ask.
We should make an effort. Something that I had done historically at PAX Unplugged and had not done very much of last year, but something that I enjoyed was doing more like interviews at the event. Definitely organizing interviews for the future, but if there's the opportunity to do interviews at the event, or even better, if we have at our space somewhere that we can set up fairly reasonably with somewhat decent equipment, some interviews that we can do privately, then I think that would be really nice. You know, I did like a great interview with Henry Audubon that I absolutely loved, that was at our Airbnb a couple of years ago. We did a couple interviews last year that I did enjoy and put those up. And I'm hoping we can do some more of that, especially now that you're doing more interviews. And then figuring out where best to put those on the channel. It'd also be cool to do some shorts, you know, just like, hey, we're here at this booth. These are the things that are exciting. Or, you know, like maybe we could do some shorts where they're kind of our hot takes on some of the games that we're playing. You know, just like, here's some B-roll footage and everything. Here's what we're playing. You know, we're at PAX Unplugged, and I don't know.
Yeah, I think that could be super easy of like, we get to a booth and go, hello, this is the Cardboard Herald. We are at this booth at PAX Unplugged. These are the games that they got, and do like a quick voiceover video of us saying, there's this game. This is kind of what it's about. These are the things that it seems similar to. Come check it out. This game. And I think it'd be pretty easy to do that while still at the convention. Mim, my wife, I finally downloaded CapCut, which is like the TikTok editing app on your phone, which you can use for shorts reviews or shorts. Because we put together a montage of our time and forks set to the Twilight soundtrack. The oh song, that song that we all know and love, and could all sing definitely all of the words to in perfect pitch.
This is a thing I've heard before. Yeah.
It's pretty easy to like quickly throw, okay, these are like the 3 shots I got together. Boom, done. I can export it. That would be a thing we could definitely do, because that also would be, I think, interesting to see if you're not able to attend. Like, these are the cool publishers or games that you and I thought we should highlight.
Right. And I think that is something that I need to look into, CapCut, because the YouTube Studio, or I guess the YouTube app itself, I have like a love-hate relationship with it for making shorts because they very much want you to use the YouTube app for making shorts.
Yeah.
And you can film things in sequence and then like stop and re-record something else. But it's not very precise in how it lets you like edit the individual things that you've recorded. And you can't see like a whole, like, let me see these 3 takes of me saying the same thing or something. You record something, and then if you want to re-record something, then you have to essentially undo what you just did.
Yeah.
And then once you have it together, any of the sequences where you stopped, then you can like shorten. But again, it's like it is not very precise. So maybe CapCut would be a better way of doing that. But yeah, I think doing some more stuff where we emphasize like conversations with people, where we emphasize just showing off some of the fun things that we're doing there at the convention. I think that's going to be the best, and I think that'll be a blast.
Well, I also just think that it's, in theory, we're going to PAX as members of the media. That's our pass is like content creator media pass. And I think that it would be worthwhile for us to, we're there to be media. We're there to be the news outlet. And being a bit more on that, because I will say I was definitely overwhelmed at PAX just in terms of being like, I love being a gamer. This is great. And I let some of those, some of the more like, oh, this is probably a thing we should be doing for the channel, fall a bit. But now, I've been to 2 board game conventions now, Jack. I'm a pro. I'm a seasoned veteran.
Well, I think part of it is also like making connections, right? Like we want to give a platform to, or we want to be able to share this with the audience, but at the same time, the publishers are. This isn't exclusively a media convention for them. When I'm asking someone from Leader Games to take their time to talk with me on mic, that's taking them away from the million other things like they could be doing, including connecting with the audience. And I want to be cognizant of that because they are fried. It's a really busy time. So looking for ways that we can balance not being overly intrusive, but also, successfully having these interviews there where it makes sense. It's something that we've done in the past, and it's something that we can do in the future. But I think there's value added no matter what we do, because going and maintaining those connections, even on a personal level, allows us to, help the channel thrive. Those connections are what pivots to access to games, access to people, access to more and more things.
Yeah, I think that it's fun to just be at the convention and have those conversations with people, but I do think that that's a fair point of we are actively taking them away from doing their jobs at the convention. Sometimes they are there to just chat. Like and that's how I got Trey Chambers on the podcast, is just by being there to chat with him, because he was there to chat.
Totally. And like that's value added for them as well. It's just trying to be cognizant that there can also be a parasitic element to overemphasizing like social media engagement and everything. And like if everything is the potential for a short, then it's like, are we bumping people out of the way and being like, oh, I'm recording my short here? And it's like, homie, I'm trying to sell some games. So these people were over here like just checking it out. So, like that's something that I want to be cognizant of, because in the past, when I did a lot of interviews at conventions, they were predominantly scheduled things where I'd set up a camera and everything. The freedom and flexibility of the short form content is really cool. But I can see how that you have to restrain yourself from being overly improvisational, trying to make everything into a short. But I don't really have worries about it. I think we'll be good.
Yeah, I think we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Any other business we got to attend to?
Oh, I think so. I mean, I think the general business of we have videos to make, specifically me. I'm trying to be more on top of making reviews out of all of the games that we get as much as possible. I don't know if you saw on the spreadsheet. I gave myself a tab, Eric's priority list, so that I know which games to prioritize making reviews for.
Yeah.
That's a thing that I need to focus on more, which I think that I was doing well before the trip. I felt more better about what I was doing, just in terms of like getting reviews made for the games that we have on the backlog.
Just saying, it's coming up on 1 year anniversary of getting that nice campaign game. How's that going?
It's over there.
Yeah. That's what happens. And, like, I think even though every publisher wants the games that they give for review to eventually get review, I have found more and more that there is a conscious reality that publishers have that, there's only so much time that we can be reviewing games, and we do try to fulfill all those obligations, especially if it's a clear-cut obligation or something that's for like a time-sensitive thing. But we put out more reviews as a channel, thanks to you being here, this year, I think, than ever before, because there's almost consistently been like 2 reviews or 2 major pieces of content every week, often in addition to a podcast.
Yeah.
And there's still just more games to cover than we'll ever realistically be covering.
Yeah, I think that we, to my knowledge, have been putting out more reviews and I definitely more content, but that's very much buoyed by the fact that we have an hour-long podcast every week, if not more.
Yeah.
Usually, I think there was a little gap there for a bit as I got back from Gen Con.
Yeah.
But typically we're doing that. But in terms of like hours of work, astronomically higher this year, I think, based on the fact that we are doing also an hour-long podcast, even though that's not quite the same as a review. But we are also separately reviewing more games this year.
Yep.
And I think my plan is to boost that even more by just doing shorts reviews for games that we won't be typically doing a review for. Like, I know I have in the can, Furnace has a shorts review that I just need to get gameplay footage of, which I finally did the other day, but I haven't actually, like, it's been in the can for like, I made the review and then realized, when I was playing it, I didn't really get a ton of footage, so I need more footage that will work for this.
I think I have some images that I took recently if you want me to send them your way.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you need anything else. But I ended up playing it again a couple months ago, a month ago. I don't know, right before I went to Germany, I think. And I was like, I should take some photos of this just so I have it in the whole library, which is a helpful tip for all of you aspiring content creators out there. Make a library of your footage. You are going to need it again, especially when, like some of your biggest videos are top 10 worker placement or whatever.
Yeah.
And you don't want to have to shoot all that imagery again. Just, if you play a game, take a few photos. If you are reviewing a game, take lots of photos and then put that into the library.
Yeah. I have a full documentary from when I was, again, we referenced it in my in the Forest Shuffle Dartmoor gameplay, but my days back as a film student, there's a lot of emphasis put on making sure that your file structure is good, especially if you're like the primary editor for something, of just like this, exactly where to find all of your footage. I've been doing a lot of that. But I had this because I wasn't even necessarily planning on making a Furnace review when I was getting these videos, and then I was like, I could probably throw a review for Furnace together. and then ended up not having enough footage because I didn't get enough footage. And then just
Right.
haven't gotten around to playing it for a minute. Because we played it at PAX last year, and that is like one of the first times I was like, oh, I should do a review on this. I like this game. This is a fun game. And so I got footage there, and then I got footage from a couple other times playing it. And it's just been in the backlog of, okay, I need to play it like one more time and just really hammer on getting footage of this game so that I can put the shorts review up. But I would all of this is to say that I am planning on, when we did the State of the Herald address back in like May or April or whenever that was, I had mentioned wanting to do more short stuff. And I'm now doing the actual, I think, work to make that happen. So we should have some more shorts reviews coming out to hopefully get even more reviews for games that we aren't going to be doing bigger reviews on, or games that we are going to be doing bigger reviews on but wanted to get like our first impressions out, or just edited of the big review. So
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that does it. I mean, that's some of the business that Eric and I were going to talk about anyway. And it was a good occasion with me coming back from Germany, him coming back from Washington. And we just hadn't really talked shop for a bit. And so I hope this was helpful. This was certainly helpful for Eric and I, just kind of talking through things. But we actually got to work on these goals. I mean, like I said, we got 5 shorts in the can, so shorts definitely are going to be a priority. Figured out the Patreon stuff. We have kind of some goals for PAX Unplugged, so I think we're in good shape.
Yeah, I think we're in good shape. I think with that, the meeting is officially adjourned. The board of directors of the Cardboard Herald will resume our quarterly meetings next year.
Sounds good.
Or at PAX. We'll do, we'll figure it out at PAX. That's not even a quarter away. That's so much sooner than a quarter away. Our quarterly meetings don't actually follow a quarter.
You know what I'm really stoked by?
What?
Okay. I loved, speaking of things that like bring me great joy, I love how our game of the year turned out this last year. And that was one of my favorite things that we did all year. And I hope to replicate that again with all the guests coming in, you and me, and hopefully Christina, like stepping in and talking about like some of the games played and everything. I think that was so cool. I don't know that if it got a ton of traction.
I mean, I think it got a reasonable amount of traction. I think it got. I don't have the numbers in front of me. You're probably looking them up, but I think that it did pretty well. I also think that was really fun. This year, I'm going to be really. I think it's going to be an interesting list because you and I both haven't played the same games. Because last year, I feel like we both had played a lot of the same games. Because, like, Arcs was up there for us. Harvest obviously was up there for us. And these are games that you and I had played together with some regularity. But now it's like, I'm probably going to have Builders of Baldur's Gate on there. I'm probably going to have Galactic Cruise and Molly House, which you haven't played in any of those 3 to my knowledge.
Correct.
And so it's like a thing of, oh, this is going to be a very interesting... Our lists are not going to be the same this year.
Well, I think that adds value.
No, I think it's good.
Both the combined list, and then I think that there's also the value to our own personal list. Like after we posted the main list last year, or at the beginning of the year, I then posted my own, like, here's my personal list in case you're interested. And I think the intent was that you ended up posting yours as well.
Yes, mine was
did
separate.
pretty well.
Yeah, it did pretty good.
Yep,
did all right.
So
like
I think we do that again. I think it'll be good.
I think it was fun. I'd be happy to do it again.
I think we should have a podcast in advance of our top 10 collaborative where we hash out our top 10
Oh yeah.
and actually like figure that out as a group. You know, like we can probably do some of the same math that we did last year.
Yeah.
But then if we're like, well, you know, the math is imperfect and there's no way that this can be our top number one game because it just does not
It's
represent.
none of
you know,
our
like,
number one games. Like it might have won the math contest we had, but it's none of our number one games. So
Yeah.
we're
I
gonna
think-
redo the list.
I think that would be fun to have a conversation just about kind of the making of that video in preparation, you know, our plans and everything, and then maybe post that the week following the actual top 10 or something.
Well, another thing that I want to do as a podcast at some point is a 1 year post PAX Unplugged revisit our takes from the original PAX Unplugged. Like
that would be cool.
so do that, and we could do that also for our top 10 list because I think I'm still in agreement on all of them. I need to go back through and be like, okay, what did we actually say about all of these games and revisit mine to be like, what do I still agree with my list? I probably do, but
I'm going to need David to come back and re-review that Carrot 1 year out and tell me if that's still as life-changing of a Carrot experience.
Carrot was so good. It's
Dude.
so good. I assume I didn't taste it. He tasted it. He said it was good.
I got us derailed. We were just about to sign off, and then I was like, "Hey, you know what?
You know what? Different thing.
This is a podcast."
Thank you to the audience for tuning in. I assume you're still here because you're listening to this part of the conversation. Let us know your thoughts on the channel. Do you like the channel? Is it a good channel? Are you subscribed? Please be subscribed. Hopefully, if you've listened to us talk for an hour and change, you were subscribed. But thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being an awesome community. If you have any topics you want to suggest for the podcast, let us know. If you have any thoughts on any of the things we said, comments down below are the best place to be doing it.
That's right.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. I have been Eric with the Cardboard Herald, joined by Jack.
Later.